We are staying on top of that breaking news. You are looking right now live at what is the beginning of what will be a procession for Indian River County Sheriff's Deputy Terry Mashkow. Right now, her body will be taken from the scene where she was killed earlier today along Governor's Way, which is in the Bermuda Club neighborhood in Vero Beach. And her body will be taken from there to Indian River State College to the medical examiner's office, Todd.
Again, as Tiffany said, this began with a notice of eviction being served by the deputy. She was 47 years old, a 25-year veteran of the sheriff's office. Our Angela Rozier is right there at the scene where the procession to bring her remains to the medical examiner's office will begin at any moment. I want to bring Angela in now. And I actually see movement. It appears we see movement up ahead from where you are, Ange.
That's right. As a matter of fact, we're here along A1A, and we can see the Indian River County Sheriff deputies are lined up outside that development here along the sidewalk, some standing at attention. And there's also some of the members of the community, as well as the people who live inside the Bermuda Club Somerset Bay community. They too are lined up here on the sidewalks, waiting for that deputy to be escorted to the medical examiner's office. Todd, I can tell you it's been a very somber moment here today. Throughout the day, I've heard from people who know the deputies, people who don't even know the deputies, all feeling the same way, feeling for their families of the people who were shot, the deputy who passed away, and that locksmith who was also shot. We talked to one woman who says she hasn't been able to get back into her home today because of the activity. They say they're still keeping that area cornered off from people where the incident took place, and people who do come to the community, they have to park their cars and then walk inside after talking with the sheriff deputies. But right now, everyone, their minds, their hearts are on that deputy, and they're waiting right now to pay their respects.
Angela, I was going to ask you, just for people who don't know that area or know Vero Beach, if you could describe this neighborhood a bit, where this happened, where this eviction notice was being served this morning, and where this tragedy took place.
Exactly. I can tell you that everyone that I talked to said this is a very quiet neighborhood. They were surprised. We're right here along A1A, close to the beach area here on the island here in Indian River County. People that who were here said they've never seen anything like this take place here. They were also concerned because they say this is a gated community. They were surprised because of that. But again, as other people weren't surprised, they say, because they are hearing things like that, unfortunately, happening in our community. But for the most part, everyone I talk to say this is a very small community. Most of everyone knows everyone, and they are feeling for them, and they are also praying for that deputy's family. You can see right now we're beginning that procession.
Yes, Angela, we can see, but we have an aerial view from the chopper. We can see a little bit of movement there. And here we go right now, the very beginning of the procession, taking Deputy 47-year-old Terry Mashkow's body from the crime scene, from where that eviction notice was served, to the medical examiner's office. Let's watch as this procession moves through.
We can also see the Indian River County Fire Rescue also here on scene. Some members of the medical examiner's office also here on scene. You can see the road patrol. We also saw a canine unit earlier today. We also see there are members of the crime scene unit from Indian River County Sheriff's Office also here today. And as I said, members of the community, they too are participating by standing along A1A here on the sidewalks, waiting, some taking photos, some hugging each other, watching as this procession unfolds right before them. As you said, this was the second in the line of duty shootings since the 100-year history of the Sheriff's Office. We've seen St. Lucie County Sheriff deputies also here in this procession. And now I think we hear the honor guard.
We also heard
As
from...
you can see now, they're leaving.
Go ahead, Angela.
Sorry about that, Tiffany. You can see now the deputies are falling out of order. They're going to get to their vehicles, and they're going to follow the deputy's body to the medical examiner's office right now. You couldn't hear the honor guard because you're too far away, but I could hear them in the background as they all broke their line, and now they're going to be following her to the medical examiner's office.
It is such a difficult day for the brothers and sisters in law enforcement, not just in Indian River County, but throughout our area. We've been hearing from all the different departments about how their prayers and their hearts are with the members of law enforcement, but also with the community, because we also heard Sheriff Eric Flowers say earlier today, he worked all those 25 years with Deputy Mashkow. And there aren't that many people in the department who've been there for that many years working together. And the impact that she had on the community, she was so well known because of those 20 years on patrol that she spent on the streets of Indian River County. She was beloved by so many. Angela, you said you talked with that gentleman today who, before her name was even announced, he knew whose life had been lost and what an impact she had on the community there in Indian River County.
Exactly. He said that she went by the name of Deputy Sweeting. That's what they called her here, and he had a smile on his face when he talked about it. But he was hurt. He says he just in disbelief about what happened. She says she was a very sweet woman, and he is just shocked to see what happened. As long as with the other people who live in this community also shocked at what happened here today.
And I think it's important to point out, again, this particular procession is about honoring the work and service of Deputy Terry Mashkow because of all she did for the Vero Beach community, what she did for the Indian River County community, all these years working dispatch and then on the streets as a deputy. The sheriff made a point of saying how beloved she was, as Tiffany mentioned at the same time. This is just the first step in honoring her service during all these years. And in case you are just joining us, let me again reiterate what this is about. This was a morning eviction notice servings that she was participating in at this community along Governor's Way, right off of Governor's Way, and unfortunately shots were fired. And just a brief mention of the suspect, 37-year-old Michael Halberstam, a man with 2 prior crimes we know about. There was a drug charge in Virginia as well as an assault at that Vero Beach home where this crime took place. And we're told there were 7 calls to 911 this month, and we're also told those calls came from his mother. But 7 calls this month involving this man. The sheriff says he was not on the radar. Shots were fired today. We not only have the death of Deputy Mashkow, we have another deputy who was injured. We have the suspect is in critical condition, and a locksmith who was there, obviously as part of this effort to evict Halberstam, was also shot or injured in some way and is in critical condition at the hospital right now.
There were a total of 3 deputies who had arrived on scene, and one was uninjured, and the other one who was shot had to take cover in the garage. They had made their way into the house in the entryway of the home, and that's when the suspect, according to Sheriff Flowers, Michael Halberstam, where he went and got a weapon and started shooting. And again, this is just sent heartache throughout the community of Indian River County because of the length of time that Deputy Mashkow had served and dedicated her life to serving the people in Indian River County. As Todd just mentioned, and we mentioned a few moments ago, 20 years on road patrol. But then she pivoted and went to the legal process civil unit of the Sheriff's Department, which is why she was a part of that team this morning that went to go serve that eviction notice to remove the suspect from his mother's home. And that is when this tragedy unfolded. Again, another deputy in critical condition, the suspect in critical condition, and as Todd just mentioned as well, the locksmith.
And Angela, I know you're there. You've been there all day long. I'm sure there was a pall hanging over that entire neighborhood, but it stretches much farther. When we see this from the sky, it's just another example of how important these people are to our safety, to our communities, and what a tragedy it is to see someone shot down or to lose their life in the line of duty like this. Are people still around, or have they all left from where you are, Ange?
No, they are still here, Todd. As a matter of fact, their hearts are obviously hurting for Deputy Mashkow, but they're also concerned about that other deputy who was shot in the shoulder. That locksmith was also injured at this incident this morning. They're asking about them, asking about their families, and wishing them prayers as well. We too waiting for an update on that, but the community is feeling it. Everyone here is feeling it, and everyone wants to send their prayers to everyone involved here, including everyone's family here today. And I can also tell you one thing too, this investigation is far from over. Talked to a woman who went to visit her parents here. She says deputies are still at the crime scene right now. And we've noticed that people who stop by here, who live here, they're not allowed to drive their cars inside right now. They have to park their cars and walk inside, passing the deputies at first. So this is still hurting tonight.
And we did receive a statement from the Indian River County Sheriff's Office, and I want to read part of that, which says, Deputy Mashkow dedicated 25 years of honorable service to this agency and to the people of Indian River County. Her loss is felt deeply by every member of our agency, as well as by the community that she served with pride. We ask the public to keep Deputy Mashkow's family, friends, and colleagues in their thoughts during this incredibly difficult time.
And look at the length of that motorcade, that honor motorcade for the sheriff's deputy. Outstanding to see that. So many people feeling this so deeply. And we should also let you know that our Caleb Califano is at the opposite end, and there's a look at that. That is Indian River State College in Fort Pierce, where the medical examiner's office is. That's about a 26-mile drive, so this will take a while. You can see the length of the procession. It would have been more than likely either a medical examiner's vehicle or a fire rescue ambulance that would be taking Deputy Mashkow's remains to the medical examiner's office. Of course, we're going to follow this for you throughout the process, and Caleb will be able to talk more about what he sees. But that flag is actually hanging over the street, again, to honor this fallen deputy today.
If you are just joining us, we are in continuous coverage of the shooting death of Deputy Terry Mashkow with the Indian River County Sheriff's Office. A procession to take her body from the crime scene in the Bermuda Bay neighborhood to the medical examiner's office is underway right now. These are live pictures as the procession takes her body to the Indian River State College, to the medical examiner's office. It stretches for miles, and as Todd just mentioned, this is a 26-mile route, so it will take time to get her body from Vero Beach to Fort Pierce. But this all started earlier today around 9 o'clock when Deputy Mashkow and two other deputies and a locksmith went to a home on Governor's Wave to serve an eviction notice for Michael Haberstam. He was living at that home with his mother. He's 37 years old. And when they made it to the entryway to serve that eviction notice is when investigators say Haberstam started firing a gun.
All right, we have much more on this, and there's still much more to learn about what happened today. But again, this is a sacred procession to honor this fallen deputy. We are moving ahead to WPBF 25 News at 6 with our breaking news as we continue to cover this fallen deputy procession for you.
WPBF 25 News starts with breaking news.
You wouldn't really expect nothing like this on the beach side. And this is like really a tragedy.
It's just a tragedy. No matter whatever the situation may have been, it is an absolute tragedy.
I can tell you that our team will feel this forever. Terry was an amazing deputy. She had a beautiful heart.
Right now at 6, a devastating day for our entire community as an Indian River County Sheriff's deputy is shot to death in the line of duty. Another deputy and a locksmith also shot serving an eviction notice at a Vero Beach home.
This is a look right now at the procession that got underway just moments ago for Deputy Mashkow. Law enforcement officers lined up along the road right outside of the neighborhood in Vero Beach where that shooting happened this morning. And now a live look from the medical examiner's office at Indian River State College, or a live look right now of the procession as it makes its way through Indian River County, transporting the deputy's body to the medical examiner's office.
We would be led to believe that her remains are in that ambulance. You saw that from fire rescue. This is a photo of the deputy that the sheriff's office shared with us. They say she dedicated 25 years of service to the department. Her nickname, Deputy Sweetie. Good evening. Thanks for joining us here at 6 o'clock. I'm Todd McDermott.
And I'm Tiffany Kenny. Our team has been following breaking developments since the shooting happened around 9 this morning. We know Deputies were serving an eviction notice at a home in the Bermuda Club community when the suspect started shooting at them. Deputy Terry Mashkow was killed. Deputy Florentino Arispe was shot in the shoulder, and a locksmith, whose name has not yet been released, was also shot and is in critical condition tonight. We have live team coverage. Rachel Perry is at Longwood Regional Hospital, where the victims were taken. Caleb Califano is at the medical examiner's office, where Deputy Mashkow's body will arrive in the next 30 minutes.
Again, that's a 26-mile drive from where the shooting took place. We're going to start with our Angela Rozier outside the Vero Beach neighborhood where this happened today. Angela, this has been such a difficult day for everyone there, as well as all South Florida law enforcement and beyond.
That's right. Hearts are very heavy today. As you said, the Indian River County Sheriff's Office have been out here inside and outside of this community all day long since this shooting took place, and they remain here as they continue with the investigation. People outside the Bermuda Club Somerset Bay neighborhood were shaken when they heard what happened.
Oh, it was devastating. We got the call and said that the subpoena lady was trying to serve an eviction and was shot.
Oh my gosh, like, that's where my parents live. This is where I come on vacation and stay. What is going on?
Indian River County Sheriff Eric Flowers says his civil unit went to the 1100 block of Governor's Way, where a mother was evicting her son, Michael Halberstam. He says while deputies and a locksmith were in the entryway, the suspect grabbed a weapon and began firing. Christopher Bennett knew one of the deputies who was shot.
We called Officer Sweetie.
Deputy Terry Sweetie Mashkow was killed in the line of duty inside the residence. Deputy Florentino Arispe was shot in the shoulder, and a locksmith on scene was rushed to surgery.
I'm just praying for them, hoping for the best. I know they got families and they don't want to deal with the tragedy right now. Holiday, Thanksgiving next week, and this is too much right now.
And again, this investigation still underway. I'm told the deputies are still surrounding that home where the shooting took place. Back to you, Tiffany and Todd.
Hospital in Fort Pierce, where both the locksmith who was shot and the suspect himself are in critical condition. Rachel, the sheriff, spoke about this tragedy and understandably was incredibly emotional.
That's right, Todd. Sheriff Flowers says he's worked his entire career with Deputy Mashkow, saying his team will feel her loss forever. At a press conference this morning, Sheriff Eric Flowers saying Deputy Mashkow started her career as a dispatcher, serving 20 years in patrol, and was assigned to the Legal Process Civil Unit, saying he's heartbroken.
I'm absolutely heartbroken. I've worked my entire career with Terry, and as have pretty much everybody else at the agency. You know, we don't have a lot of people who have been there beyond that time. 25 years is a long time. Having to call her mom today, having to let her husband know, absolutely the worst part of being a law enforcement leader. I can tell you that our team will feel this forever. Terry was an amazing deputy. She had a beautiful heart, and she will be missed.
The Indian River County Sheriff's Office took to social media this afternoon, writing in part, Deputy Mashkow dedicated 25 years of honorable service to this agency and to the people of Indian River County. Her loss is felt deeply by every member of our agency, as well as by the community she served with pride. Now, the Sheriff's Office is asking that people keep Deputy Mashkow's family, friends, and colleagues in your thoughts during this time. Now, we do know 3 others were shot, including a second deputy who is recovering, a locksmith who was taken here too in critical condition, along with the suspect also in critical condition. A sergeant on scene was not hurt. Live in Fort Pierce, Rachel Perry, WPBF 25 News.
She had a beautiful heart. Those are words that we will not forget from the sheriff. Rachel, thank you. And let's bring in Caleb Califano, who is at the medical examiner's office in Fort Pierce. And Caleb, you've been looking into the suspect's background and his concerning post on social media.
That is correct. But first, I want to mention that we are at the medical examiner's office, like you said, here at Indian River State College in Fort Pierce. This is where the procession will end. I want to step out of the way to show you. You can see this large American flag draped over the road. This is the final stretch before they turn into the medical examiner's office here. Now, I do want to talk more about this suspect who the sheriff's office has identified as 37-year-old Michael Halberstam. They also broke down his previous arrest record. Now, according to the sheriff's office, he has a 2006 narcotics conviction out of Virginia and a 2015 misdemeanor assault charge. Specifically at his home here in Florida, the sheriff says deputies have responded to 7 calls this month regarding him, and most were made by his mother. Now, looking at his social media profiles, it's shown that he also made a number of concerning posts on Facebook, including claims that he was fired from UPS and negative comments about the company as well. However, a UPS spokesperson tells us that no individual matching his name has been employed with the company since 2022 and that they're unable to provide further comment. He also made multiple posts tagging the Indian River County Sheriff's Office, specifically regarding the cameras outside his home. He also made another post simply saying ACAB with the sheriff's vehicles in the background. Now, the sheriff's office does tell us that Halberstam was not previously on their radar, and today's situation was considered a standard eviction. They also say based on their early investigation, they saw nothing that would have prohibited him from having a firearm in the first place. Of course, we'll keep you updated. But for now, we're live. Caleb Califano, WPBF 25 News.
All right, Caleb, thank you for that. As Caleb mentioned, these deputies were serving an eviction notice when Halberstam started shooting. This is the second deadly shooting in our area with ties to an eviction just this month. You remember the shooting in Port St. Lucie. Paul Mario murdered 2 of his neighbors. Investigators say this is over the community's HOA board looking to evict Mario after residents reported concerns about his erratic behavior. Data from Princeton University's eviction lab shows more than 11,000 eviction notices are filed in our area every year. Indian River County Sheriff Eric Flowers spoke about what officers expect when they go to serve these eviction notices.
An eviction is a very tense moment. Many times it's handled before they ever get there and it becomes a commonplace call. But on occasion, they do encounter somebody who is in distress. And they have resources, and they work through those things. This is not a situation where a person would ever be expected to start shooting indiscriminately at these deputies. And just a terrible scene out there.
Again, 7 calls at that address this month, 7 911 calls. Between 2021 and 2023, there were more than 80 deaths related to evictions in the U.S. Other forms of violence happen several times a month. As we've mentioned, this is only the second line of duty shooting death in the history of the Indian River County Sheriff's Office. That's over 100 years. Deputy Sheriff Richard Rutkowski was shot and killed September 23rd, 1986. He was checking on a suspicious person, later identified as William Reeves, who was using a payphone around 3 in the morning in front of a closed convenience store in Vero Beach. Reeves shot the deputy 5 times in the back as he tried to take cover behind his patrol car. Reeves was convicted. He's been sitting on Florida's death row since 1992.
And this shooting comes as we mark another tragic day for law enforcement in our community. It was 1 year ago that 3 Palm Beach County deputies were hit by a driver on the side of Southern Boulevard while conducting traffic enforcement. Deputy Ralph Butch Waller and Corporal Luis Paez were pronounced dead that same day. Deputy Ignacio Dan Diaz died in the hospital days later. The driver involved told investigators that the car in front of her, quote, suddenly slowed, forcing her to swerve to avoid a collision. At last check, no charges have been filed and the driver's identity has not been released. Today, members of the Sheriff's Office gathered for a memorial procession on Southern Boulevard. Dozens of motorcycles, patrol cars, and family members took part in the morning motorcade and ceremony at the site. They also had a special dedication ceremony on that stretch of road now renamed PBSO Motorman Highway. 3 American flags and a cross are now on display at the crash scene. The Sheriff's Office says the new road designation will serve as a permanent reminder of the deputies' service and sacrifice.
And back to our breaking news of the day, the death of Deputy Terry Mashkow. WPBF 25 News will continue to follow every development in the shooting death of the deputy, Terry Sweeting Mashkow. We'll continue working throughout the evening for you, the days ahead, as we learn more about the victims and the suspect, who again is in critical condition. I hope you'll stay with us for updates both on the air here and online at our website, WPBF.com, and on our WPBF 25 News app.
Concerns over